Deepak,
Sir,
how do you? I mean, do you really prefer creating a sling in the first instance, or
I
doing the free flap and doing some other ways and means at a later date?
always do in the first instance only, sir.
First instance, okay.
First instance only, sir. Never
Hmm.
had problem with that, sir. If you do a
Sir,
subcuticular thing because the dermal supply, it will work. But if you
Will
put
work.
it on the
Yeah,
other side, the distal part of the flap will definitely die, sir.
yeah.
Sir, I have a doubt, sir. Sir,
Yeah.
if you are not using the PL sling in the first instance, some books recommend attaching to the orbicularis oris of the lower lip and hitching the upper part to the Mendel, not
Malaramins.
periosteum of the malar eminence. So,
Malaramins.
which would you prefer, sir?
So
No,
you
no,
get
that,
right.
yeah.
If you look at the right spatial landmark, you have to give the commissure height. You can take a third suture and hitch it to the module in a subdermal fashion. You can take a stitch in your commissure area, and you can hitch it
Sir,
vertically or tangentially to the dermis of the cheek. That will give your
sir,
commissure height. But
sir,
usually in our patients, more important than height is commissure competence. So I only do
sir,
upper lip, lower lip, midline, and suture it to the orbicularis muscle. I don't really worry
sir,
about the commissure height.
sir,
But they're all variations of, if they ask you, obviously, what are the things in commissure you see? First of all, commissure should be in the mid pupillary line as per the right facial landmarks. Then the commissure height should be equal to the corresponding commissure height. There should be no sagging of the commissure, otherwise, there'll be a sump there and saliva will pool from there. So
drooling,
the
sir.
higher the commissure, the less chance of you having drooling of saliva. How do you
Sir,
ensure that? You take a bite through the neocommissure and hitch it to the malar prominence with proline with subdermal stitches. So,
sir,
and if you really want to reconstruct the commissure, then there are some other flaps also described. Zisser flap, Brusati's flap, all those flaps are also described for purely neocommissure. That is skin and mucosal advancement combined. That has also been described. But
Webster's, and so many things.
yes, so many things. But they're all for isolated commissure only, not a contiguous cheek, skin, commissure, and mucosa. So here in this place, your answer is right. Competent commissure, height of the commissure should be maintained. Adequate lip stock should be replaced. Minimum of 9 centimeters of lip stock we should have. Intercommissural distance of 3 centimeters minimum should be there because that is the width of a spoon. And resurfacing the buccal mucosa, and watch out for the parotid duct. If you're excising the buccal mucosa, make sure that you don't transect the parotid duct and cover it with your flap, because then the patient will have salivary collection under the flap and the flap might die. So, these are the things that you will have to answer.
sir,
So suppose if the nodes are positive. Hello.
sir.
No,
Hello,
sir.
sir. I can hear you, sir.
If the nodes are positive, what would you like to? I mean, you have done supraumate
Then,
block dissection
then I would go for a modified radical net dissection of the ipsilateral side, sir.
again.
If the notes, if on my examination there is an ipsilateral lymphadenopathy, I would go for a modified radical neck dissection on the same side and supramyoid on the opposite side. Sir,
Yeah,
modified
supraumate
radical
on the
neck
opposite
dissection,
side is
so
that.
on the opposite sides, sir.
Yes. See, basically, and suppose this has come out as an ulcerated growth, isn't it?
Ulceroproliferative.
Ulcerative.
Sir.
I mean, it's only this one comment with. I just want to clarify with Deepak. Would you prefer this chemotherapy, single agent chemotherapy prior to surgery for verrucous lesions?
No, sir. For verrucous lesions, they are all radio resistant and chemo resistant.
Chemo resistant.
They're all well differentiated tumors.
Yeah.
So they don't have damaged repair. Like the reason why radiation and chemo works is because cancer cells have an impaired repair mechanism. So when you hit them with radiation and chemo, and if they're damaged, their cellular mechanisms cannot repair themselves. But in a well-differentiated tumor like verrucous, the repair mechanisms are all still intact. So radiation and chemo doesn't work. I like to add one point in this patient. No, you have to be very clear. If your preoperative evaluation shows the patient is node negative, in your preoperative CT, if you're seeing that the patient is node negative, a suprahumoid neck dissection is sufficient. We don't
Yeah.
use the word suprahumoid anymore. It is called selective neck dissection.
Selected
Selective
dissection.
1 to 4, not 1 to 3. 1 to 4 is sufficient. But if you find a patient who is node positive on preoperative evaluation, if the CT is showing positive nodes, then you have to do a comprehensive neck dissection. And if you have a patient who was node negative preoperatively, but pathology shows positive nodes postoperatively, then you have to give the patient adjuvant treatment in the form of radiation,
Radiation. That's what.
because the stage will become stage 3 minimum.
Okay.
So you
Do
have to
you get
remember
it,
that.
Joseph?
Sir, could you just repeat
That
it
is
once
what.
more, sir?
It is
Yeah, that is what.
very clear three things. One is preoperative evaluation shows nodes, 0 nodes,
Sir.
node negative. You have to do a selective 1 to 4 neck dissection. Any oral cavity malignancy, neck dissection is mandatory. You cannot avoid it.
Sir.
If the patient is node positive, you do a comprehensive neck dissection. If the post-op HPR is showing positive nodes in a patient who had node negative pre-op, then you give the patient adjuvant radiation.
Radiotherapy.
That's all. Yeah.
Okay.
See, even if even in the case of suppose, so this is something like, suppose if there is no node preoperatively, and if it you do a suprahumoid neck dissection, especially this happens in malignant melanomas sometimes. Suppose if few nodes turn out to be positive, then hello,
Sir,
you get.
I can hear you, sir. Yeah.
Yeah. That is also becoming upstaging of the disease only. That is also upstaging of the disease. Histopathologically, if the nodes become positive, that becomes
Sir.
upstaging of the disease.
Sir.
Okay.
Sir.
So what will you do?
Sir, in this case.
Yeah, in this case, suppose if suprahumoid neck dissection, if if 1 or 2 nodes become positive, because
Sir,
we don't do routine, we don't do sentinel node biopsies and all those things in all these cases.
Sir, then I would go
So
for a complete neck dissection on the same side, sir.
Same side.
Followed by postoperative radiotherapy.
And followed by postoperative radiotherapy.
Sir,
But
your
Deepak,
lymph
you
nodes-
have any difference of opinion in this? Because I feel
If there is no nodes and the disease is stage 1, stage 2, no adjuvant treatment, sir.
no, that is what.
Only
If
stage
it turns out to be positive, 1 or 2 nodes, if they turn out,
post-op
sometimes,
radiation.
yeah, post-op radiation only is given. We
Yes,
don't go in for a complete neck dissection, isn't it?
No,
When
sir.
we do a suprahumoid neck dissection, that is what I just want to.
No, sir.
We don't go in for a separate this thing. Malignant melanoma, it's totally different.
That's a different.
There, things will become different.
Yes, sir.
Things will be different.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So you want to? Yeah. Please go ahead.
Can you describe the classic Allen's test to me? What are the prerequisites to raise a radial forearm flap?
Sir, Allen's test is done to test the patency of the palmar arch vessel, sir. So I would compress both the radial and ulnar arteries with my finger.
You would like to do it with the pulse oximeter or
sir,
by
I can proceed with,
examination?
sir, latest method is a pulse oximeter, sir. The pulse oximeter is placed on the thumb because it is the distalmost digit that is perfused by the ulnar artery.
Yeah.
Then I would compress the ulnar and radial artery and ask the patient to make a fist and open it consecutively for 3 minutes until the palm turns white. Then I will release the pressure on the radial artery and wait for 5 seconds for the normal waveforms to appear on the thumb.
You will release the radial artery.
Release the ulnar artery. I will keep the pressure on the radial artery and release the ulnar artery, sir. And wait for 5 seconds for the normal waveforms to appear on the pulse oximeter placed on the thumb. It's
not 5 seconds. Where is it given 5 seconds?
What is the normal circulation time?
Weih-Martini.
Weih-Martini.
Sir.
5 seconds.
Weih-Martini is given 5 seconds.
What is the normal circulation time?
As far as I remember, sir, is 15 seconds. You wait for you can wait for up to 15 seconds for the reappearance of the biphasic waveform. on the pulse oximeter. And it should not be the saturation alone, it's the waveform also. You have to see both. You should not be carried away, because if the patient's having a pigmented nail or any atrophic nail changes, the saturation might not pick up, but you should see the waveform also. Please read what is the classical Allen's test.
Allen's
Because
test, that is more
it's
important.
very important. And can you tell me some variations of the radial artery in radial forearm flap? Like, everybody knows it's standard. It's very rare to, like in the fibula flap, we talk about peroneum magna. There is a type 1 circulation, type 2 circulation, type 3 circulation. Like that in radial artery, is there any anatomical variation that you know? Can you list out the anatomical variations of the radial artery?
What, any other person apart from the presenter?
Anybody? Because it's such a common flap that we do.
Common flap. What, people from Stanley? Anberson? I saw so many people. What are the
So,
variations?
I remember that please read. I mean, I read long back. The variations are classified into high arm variations and low arm variations. That is how it is classified. Okay, high arm variations and low arm variations. High arm variations are high takeoffs, course beneath the biceps brachii, then loops of the radial artery, hypoplasia, stenosis. I forgot the low arm. So there are. It is very rare. It has been described more by people who have done who are doing the angio, the cardiac procedures, no, like through a peripheral, through the radial route, like radial angiograms, like what the cardiac people do. They are the ones who have described it. So from a flap point of view, you need to know what are the common variations when you raise the radial artery forearm flap. So it is divided into high arm variations and low arm variations. Just read that, the thing between the two. And what else? What are the advantages of the ulnar forearm flap compared to radial forearm flap? And the disadvantages?
Hair bearing.
Correct. That's correct. Very good point. Ulnar is less hair
bearing it is.
Than the radial. Then
ulnar is
disadvantages should less of the hair bearing area will be present on the ulnar forearm flaps.
Yeah.
So disadvantages will be relative decrease in strength of the hands.
Pedicle length is shorter.
Sure.
Pedicle length is comparatively shorter compared to the radial artery forearm flap, but it's very rarely used. I have never done, so it's very rarely used. I don't, because it's in the same area. There might be a question between radial and ulnar. That's all.
Suppose if there is, you don't go for a free flap, what are the other options available? Distant flaps.
Sir, I can go for a nasolabial flap, sir. Inferiorly based nasolabial flap.
Again, what is the problem? You tell me.
Rounding of the commissure, sir.
Not only that,
their incompetence.
Yeah, that is another thing. What is
the size of your defect is 5 into 5 centimeters. So then what?
Sir, it can be.
Yeah.
It can be inadequate, sir.
Yeah. So what are the distant flaps which you can think of? In this case, you can take it. You can take it. Local flaps may not be a good option, viable option in this case. Point number one, the lesion is extending into the cheek. Number two, the commissure which you want to give, a better commissure may not be possible by giving a local flap in this case. Definitely there's going to be blunting of the commissure, and you may not be able to preserve much of orbicularis oris in this case. So the question of competence will not be achieved by a local flap. Okay. So you need to plan either for a distant flap or a free flap only in this case. So distant flap, what are the, suppose if the patient's general condition or whatever it is, whatsoever it is preventing you, or if the patient has undergone some other surgery or some other this thing which precludes you from doing that, any other distant flaps which you can think of? Suppose they are going to be, they are going to be bulky, but then you must know for the exam point of view.
Sir, can I go for a
Flap.
can I go for a forehead flap in this case? So in case the forehead is large enough, sir, I can tube the pedicle proximally and. Sir, just asking, sir.
You can go for it, and you can fold it also for lining also if you want to go. You can
Sir.
go it for a fold once again, but the commissure is not going to be. The commissure is going to be as that of when you do a pedicle flap. It is you have to do a commissuroplasty also later.
At a later stage.
Later stage.
So,
But Deepak,
so
do you accept
Yes,
that?
sir. Correct, sir.
You have
If
to do. You have to do. Yeah.
any thin flap,
sir.
sir. Only problem
Sir.
with forehead is the donor site is very unsightly.
Very unsightly.
And
sir.
the standard forehead.
suppose you just a thing, Joseph, suppose you're going to do a forehead flap. Are you going to take it? How are you going to take it? Are you going to take it completely outside and then the distal tip would be inside, or are you going to make an incision and pass the flap intraoral, and it is going to actually from inside the distal portion of the flap would remain outside? Which one would you prefer?
Sir, I would go, since the lesion is also affecting the cheek, I would make an incision, go inside and place the distal part outside, sir.
Right?
That means you have to deepithelize part of the flap.
Sir, the flap which is inside the cheek, I will deepithelize.
No, it has to go up to the commissure, no? Commissure.
Sir,
So
if I take it outside, sir, I might not reach the posterior edge of the defect.
No, you will reach. You will reach.
What is that?
Your forehead is such a big flap, no?
It is such a long flap, no?
Long flap.
You can actually, the vessel, you can actually trace it even lower down also. It will come lower down, way lower down.
It will.
Sir, in our center, we practice taking out from outside. Then
Outside
the distal
is
part
always better. In this case, it is not of much advantageous to you taking the forehead flap, because it's better to take it from outside. Definitely, it will reach.
Outside is the best if you want to do commissure and cheek skin. And then
Yeah.
you divide the flap and discard it later. You wait for 6 weeks,
later.
flap take and throw it. Only for palate reconstructions, you deepithelize the intervening bridge and then tunnel it subcutaneously and take it to the palate. Otherwise, standard forehead for cheek, buccal mucosa, skin, commissure, better to take outside. Inset it really widely in a wide area so it takes a lot of blood supply. And 6 weeks later, you divide and throw the flap out. That's all. The remaining, whatever you're not using. Apart from that, what are the flap can you use in this? You said DP. The problem with DP is that the end of the DP at the third angiosome is very unreliable. And that is the part of the flap that is going to go most distally inside the buccal mucosa. Correct?
Sir.
So you might have to stage it, or in this case, it might reach, but you might
delay
have to
the flap.
delay the flap.
How do you delay the flap?
Can you tell me another flap that you can do without delaying from the same area?
Supraclavicular.
Yeah. So what is the maximum extent of supraclavicular you can take?
Up to the tip.
You can take it up to deltoid insertion.
Up to deltoid insertion.
Because beyond that, it's anterior circumflex humeral. That anastomosis starts there. So supraclavicular also is very thin. The donor site can be closed primarily. You can deepithelize the intervening skin segment and take it under the neck to your defect. And it will give you inside lining and outside cover also. And then, like sir said, do a commissuroplasty sling at a later date. So you have some options. And even a reverse submental also you can do if you place the submental superiorly. But in this case, it might not work. I'll tell you the reason, because you're disrupting the superior. No, reverse submental depends upon the blood flow from the face into the submental flap, not from the carotid into the submental flap.
Okay.
And for that to work, you have to have superior label or inferior label intact should be there. Otherwise, you won't have reverse blood supply through the facial artery. Do you understand?
Okay.
Here, your resection involves the labial arteries, superior and inferior. So a reverse submental might not work. So forehead, DP, supraclavicular are good options in this patient.
DP will be little thicker, and
Yes,
when
sir.
you plan for a neck dissection, supraclavicular, it's little easy,
Yes, sir.
isn't
Yes,
it?
sir. Yes, sir.
So,
Because it will come in the incision and easy to tunnel also, sir.
yeah, is it eternal? Yeah. So, and it's a thin flap. You can always give it, and you can try to close it primarily most often.
We can close it, sir. If anything 5-6 centimeters, we
You
can
can
close.
definitely close it.
Only spinal
And
axis, you have to be careful. That's all.
yes, and another thing is, another advantage is the skin match will be skin color match will be
Color match
almost
will be good, sir.
similar. Yeah,
Yes, sir.
definitely it will be good. If at all
Yes,
a
sir.
pedicle flap, I would prefer for an angle supraclavicular artery island flap only.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So these are all the things which are commonly asked. I think we have covered most of the things. What Sandeep?
Sir, Ankita has put up the MRI report in which it says lesion is involving the inferior alveolus, sir. Then the plan would change.
Lesion
See,
is
the
involved in the
MR always overestimates the tumor because of tissue edema and all of those things. So
Okay.
clinically, it doesn't look like it's involving the inferior alveolus. But on table, if you find that the tumor is abutting the inferior alveolus, you do a marginal mandibulectomy and the same flap. That's all. Nothing is going to change. I don't think a segmental mandibulectomy for this lesion is
yeah,
required.
definitely not required.
It's not required. It might be a bit too much.
You understand?
Yes, sir.
Because
Sir,
it's going to be only marginal mandibulectomy. The plan is not going to change anyway. So same flaps can cover it.
okay.
Definitely. Whatever.
Sir,
it is.
if there is no cheek lesion and if the lesion is involving only part of the upper lip, part of the lower lip, and the commissure, which flap should I go for first? Should I go for a local flap? Sir, suppose the cheek lesion is not there, sir. The lesion is restricted only to the. Ankita, can you just show me the pic? Sir, suppose this cheek lesion is not present, sir. The lesion is of 2 into 2 centimeter, and there is no leukoplakia of the cheek. Then what would my first plan be, sir?
Local
So,
flap.
I don't know what local flap. We can do bilateral cheek advancements for both upper lip and lower lip. Or yeah, that
But
can
this
be done.
this is involving part of the upper lip, part of the lower lip, and the commissure, sir. So
It's very difficult to reconstruct without a skin line flap.
okay,
Very difficult.
sir.
If it was only on one lip, then you can think, if it's upper lip, you can think of cheek advancement with Barrow's triangle on either side. If it's lower lip, you can think of step ladder. But
Especially if it's actually in the commissure, then you're having a difficulty in actually doing. It can be done. You can actually try to actually go for a carapansy on both sides and try to actually push the this one right side carapansy. The whole lower lip should actually try to go up this one. But I don't think it is worth it to go for all those kind of.
no, sir, because carapansy will cause severe microstoma also,
It
sir.
will cause
Severe
the
microstoma it will cause, yeah.
total distortion of the lip would be. Then you will definitely have to go in for secondary procedures after
See,
doing carapansy. Carapansy for some reason is not commonly performed only, even though
No, sir.
actually technically it is supposed to be having a lot of advantages over rest of the flaps. Actually, in practice, it's not commonly performed.
No, sir.
See, this is Carapandix flap. In our situations, because we are especially the Asian countries, I feel this is mainly Carapandix is to mainly preserve this erogenous sensation and the especially it helps more while drinking and other things, continence maintenance for all this. In our women, it is. I don't think it is not required.
Sensation is very important in reconstruction.
Yeah. That is why it is not required Carapandix. And moreover, our people are, I mean, these people, Maldives people and all, I mean, the mouthful of things they should eat, rice eaters. And I feel that microstoma will be definitely a deterrent. All these things should be taken while planning this kind of things. So
Correct, sir.
microstomia will be a handicap for these patients rather than any other this one. So
Correct, sir. That'll be the worst for them.
Whatever said and done, microstoma to be avoided in these kind of patients.
Just one last question. Can you make the radial forearm flap sensate?
Yes.
Sir, I can include the lateral antebrachial nerve and anastomosis to the marginal mandibular nerve, sir. Coaptate to the marginal mandibular nerve to make the radial forearm sensate, sir.
Marginal mandibular nerve is
Motor.
Sorry, sir. I can coaptate with the inferior.
the mental nerve.
Inferior alveolar.
Mental nerve.
Sir.
Mental nerve has three branches: one to lip, one to vestibule, one to alveolus. So you tease out the branch which comes to the lip, and then you'll only get pressure sensation and temperature sensation. You won't get special sensation, obviously. And it can be either the medial antebrachial or lateral antebrachial.
Lateral
Medial
antebrachial.
antebrachial comes with the cephalic, the medial comes with the basilic, lateral goes with the cephalic. So
Cephalic, sir.
whenever you dissect the extra vein, you'll find the nerve going. And you can make a sensate flap. If you want lip to be sensate, you can recreate a sensate flap also. That is possible. The same thing with the thigh, lateral cutaneous nerve of thigh you can use for ALT. For lateral arm, if you're using, you can use posterior cutaneous nerve of arm. So there are options to recreate sensate flap also.
Sir, one more doubt, sir. If this turns out to be a verrucous carcinoma, would my margins change?
It's the same margin,
It's
doesn't matter.
same margin. Okay.
Because verrucous is only a morphological description. The underlying pathology is still squamous cell carcinoma.
Yes.
Because sometimes we get the report as verrucous growth and they do verrucous neoplasm. They do not mention.
Prognosis wise, it may be better, but as far as the margin is concerned, surgery is concerned, is going to be the same.
It is exactly the same difference.
Yeah.
Post-op management is also slightly different, no? Verrucous means you would not prefer to go for radiation or not.
Radiation. We don't prefer to go for radiation.
For verrucous.
Prognosis also it is a little better compared to an infiltrative growth or anything.
It is much better, sir.
Yeah. That is why. Earlier, those days, people used to use cisplatinum as a single dose agent as anterior chemotherapy in primary verrucous lesions. Nowadays, people don't use. Only surgery is the sheet anchor.
Yes, sir.
I think Joseph, I think more or less he has answered almost all the questions. No? It's actually done well. And in fact, today both the people, Hitesh has also answered very well and presented very well. Joseph has also done the same.
I think it's
very good.
Okay.
So I think with this we will actually close. But actually, one thing I wanted to tell, I just wanted to tell one thing. I want Ankita to show the cases for the next week. So that we'll show the cases. These are the two cases. It's already done. Ankita, it's already done. No? And let them actually decide. Yeah, if you can tell the people who are actually
Sandeep. Because since they are appearing for exams, let everybody present, and it should be variety.
Yeah, we will even do the complete variety. This one we will.
That's what. Not only pertaining to hand or leg or neck alone. They should present a little more in trauma also, trauma defects, other defects also they should present.
So what we can do is we can keep collecting it, and then we will share it with each other, and then we will just decide and put this.
Anyway, this hand is there. We will try to put some short case also later. Okay. Or a small.
What is the next case, Ankita? There is one is a syndactyly. What is the next case?
Syndactyly, and the other one is a facial palsy case.
Okay. Both are exam cases.
Okay. Something facial palsy.
Just put that video and see if it is actually we are able to see the video.
Sir.
Facial palsy has a lot of discussion.
Yeah, I mean, examiner sees a facial. Okay, good. We are able to see it clearly. So I think these two would be exam cases. So who would want to present it? Let us see the chat. Raghuram is there, no?
I don't know. Somebody.
Raghuram was there. Raghuram was there. You
Yes,
will
sir,
present?
I'm there. Sir,
Okay.
I'll present the facial palsy, sir.
Okay.
Okay,
And
you
then
present.
syndactly, who wants to present syndactly?
So someone, Sri Harsha has raised the hand.
Sorry.
Sri Harsha, someone by that name has raised the hand.
Sri Harsha is there? Unmute
It's
yourself,
from?
Sri Harsha. Sri Harsha.
Hello.
Okay, so okay, let them present whatever it is.
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll just this one, and we will see next
Sir,
next week.
one more
Yeah.
doubt, sir.
Okay.
Sir, in a case, if we have done free radial forearm, free flap, sir, how long should we wait before the radiotherapy post-operative?
See, these are all quite standard things. Minimum 4 to 6 weeks. 4 to 6 weeks. It depends on the type of radiation which you are giving. Depends on the radiation therapist, which you can discuss with them.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay.